What's going on, future docs in the building? We're here for another video about interviews. So we're gonna get more in depth today because I know last time was literally just like the surface. I just touched on the surface, some do's and don'ts just to get y'all started, get the gears turning a little bit. But now we're gonna dive in. Oh, I'm about to dive in. That was not appropriate, but that's okay because doctors are regular people and have fun as well. So let's get into the video. Disclaimer, this video is about traditional interview questions only, not MMIs. I may make a video about MMIs later down the road just because I don't feel too comfortable. I've only had 2 MMIs, but I can definitely give you guys like a little overview just to introduce you to what it is and why they do it and how you can prepare for it. This video is strictly for the traditional interview because these are traditional questions. So don't drag me in the comments, please. Thanks. We're gonna start with the biggest question that you have all been waiting for on how to answer. Why medicine? All right, so here's the thing. This question sucks, I know. This question, everyone's gonna ask you, so you gotta know. Why medicine? Sorry, I got my notes. You already know what's going on. So for me, this is how I tackle this question. Think about the first time you considered being a doctor. Were you in school? Was it some type of science class that you took? Maybe like an anatomy class or like an AP bio class? I don't know. Did you shadow a doctor? Were you in the hospital? Was there a family member being treated in the hospital and you saw how caring and compassionate the doctors were? Second question, what did you do about it? So we all have ideas. And the next thing is you have to act on it. So what did you do? Did you start shadowing? Did you volunteer? Did you talk to other doctors? Did you try to learn more about the field? Like what actions did you take to see if this was something for you? And then third, what solidified your reasoning? What made you say, yes, I am going to be a doctor. I'm going to apply to medical school. I'm going to strive throughout my college classes. I'm going to work hard to become a doctor. What solidified your reason? Was it a significant experience? That's usually what admissions committees are looking for. Did you see something? Did you do something specific? Did someone influence you? Did you speak with a doctor? Did you see an encounter with a patient and it solidified your reason? Got some other questions for you guys, some other small questions that can help you answer this grand question. How do you portray the qualities of a doctor? What characteristics do you think doctors should have, or great, thorough doctors should have? And which ones do you guys have in common? Why is this decision important to you? What is your ultimate goal for becoming a doctor? What are your values? Why not another career? And this is a big one, guys, because if you can justify why another career, another health career especially, is not for you, and being a physician is, then you want the money. Although it is hard work, what's keeping you motivated, or what do you think will keep you motivated? And another important one, you want to use a story. So, for example, when I was asked in my first interview why I wanted to become a doctor, I basically gave the interviewer a short timeline of my life, whatever sparked my interest initially, and then I took them on this little journey about how I experienced different things just to see if it was for me, and how I was on another career path, and how I came back to wanting to become a doctor, and now what am I doing, and what solidified my reason. So that was, it's the power of a story is very effective because it kind of engages the audience with their emotions. So if you can spark some type of empathy with your interviewer, then it's lit. And also, don't be afraid of the cliches. Now, a lot of us don't want to say, oh, I like science, oh, I want to help people. We know those are like the 2 most grand cliches that you can use. And it's not that they're bad things to say, but you have to show it. If you want to help people, you have to show how you've already helped people. Your volunteer experience, community service, things like that. If you like science, you need to show me. It's not just by your grades. You do any type of research? Did you take any advanced classes? And why did you take those classes if they weren't required for you? So all those things, it's not bad to say you like science and you want to help people. I wouldn't use those words verbatim. But at the end of the day, the admission can't talk. The admissions committee already know that that's what you guys like. That's what we all like to do. So what makes us different from our counterparts? Another good one, what does the idea of medicine do for you? So for example, for me, I like a challenge. I always like challenging myself in the classroom. I didn't like to get things easily, because when you work hard for something and it's a challenge and it takes some willpower and determination, the reward feels so much better because you know you put in the time and worked for it. So it's like when you overcome that challenge, it feels so much better. Also, it holds me accountable. I can't just make willy-nilly decisions with no evidence or no justification for my patients, because we're literally taking care of people's lives. People's lives are in our hands. So it's kind of scary to think that, but at the end of the day, that's powerful. Like, I can determine someone's life. So here's a little bit about what admissions committees are looking for. Your communication skills, your resilience, which would be overcoming certain challenges that you may have faced in your journey so far. Your character, are you personable? Are you honest? Are you compassionate? How do you deal with stress and negativity? There was a few times in my interviews where they would ask me, they would give me a scenario, it's kind of like a stressful scenario, and then they would follow up with, so how do you handle stress? What do you do? Do you have a support system? Like, how do you go about that? Do you have a realistic understanding of a doctor's role? That's a big one. Are you a good team player? Can you be a leader? Have you shown in your application that you have the capability of being a good leader? And how do you know that this is for you? Why not a nurse compared to a doctor? Why not a physician assistant? Why not a pharmacist? So, moving on to other common questions for an interview. The next big one, tell me about yourself. That sucks. So my tips for answering that question, don't talk about science in school. Talk about what you like to do for fun. Talk about your family a little bit. Where did you grow up? What hobbies did you have? Are there some things that you started when you were younger? Are you still doing those things right now, so it can show that you are passionate about something other than medicine? Because we want to show that we have a passion for medicine, but we also want to let the admissions committee know that we're dynamic people and that we like other things outside of medicine, and that will keep us balanced throughout our entire journey, because burnout is real. And if you don't have any stress reliever or some type of hobby that you like to do to get your mind off of work and medicine and studying, then that's not great. What do you do for fun? That's a question I've gotten a few times. Sometimes they'll ask you about your application. So you need to know your application front and back, because anything on there is fair game. Usually interviews, well, I would say traditional interviews are typically, not all the time, open file. So the interviewer will pick something that maybe puzzled them, or maybe it was pretty interesting in your application, and they'll ask you to elaborate. So I hope you didn't lie on your application, because that's not good. For my gap year babies, there was a question that I got, what have you done since graduation? So if you can explain your experiences, tell them why you took a gap year, why you thought that was a good decision for you, and what made your gap year effective. Because you can't just sit on the couch for a year and think that you're going to get into med school. They need you to be actively doing something. Oh, for my DO applicants, why osteopathic medicine? So please get familiar with the philosophy of osteopathy and see how that can tie into your values, and then you can explain that. Sometimes, even though they're not MMIs, the traditional interview, sometimes they'll ask you scenarios. Like, for example, I got one. What would you do if you saw a classmate cheating on a test? They are testing your honesty, your integrity. There's no right or wrong answer, remember that. On these scenario-based questions, it's just you have to answer it the best way that you can. Thinking of the best version of yourself, how would you handle that situation? Describe a time where you had an interpersonal conflict, and how did you handle it? So when I say interpersonal, Inter means between. Personal is people. So between you and someone else, or you and a group of people. How did you handle that conflict? And if it was not handled, how would you go about it differently? If there's anything negative about your application, or say you talk about your weaknesses. If you discuss your weaknesses, the interviewer also needs to see that you can acknowledge the weakness, one, which you just did, but two, how are you working on strengthening that weakness? Because that weakness can't be a weakness for the rest of your life. That's not going to make you a great doctor. So you have to be working on improving yourself along the journey. Yeah, guys, that's really about it. Please have mock interviews. Please practice out loud. I would advise you to not just keep all of your thoughts on paper, because seeing it, reading it, is completely different than speaking it, unless you're just that good. I mean, hey, maybe you've had practice with this, but thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped. Please remember, you already know what to do. You already know what to do. Please like this video. Comment down below if there's any other questions that you want me to answer. Subscribe, share with your friends, your family, and I'll catch you in the next video.